If you're a wholesaler and maybe you're just getting started and you're thinking about how to find leads, I wanted to show you one way to find leads that would be easy to approach because we already know that they're trying to sell, and those are expired and canceled listings from 2024. So in 2024, due to the market conditions, we had a record number of expired and canceled listings that have not been listed yet. I would like to show you the capabilities of searching through the expired and canceled listings, and then you can judge for yourself if that's useful to you. Let's get started. Okay, this is the list of expired and canceled properties within the proper DFW area. Now, there are many more. If we expand the area a little bit more, we can see more properties in different areas, but my program, the MLS program, will allow a maximum of 5,000 listings to be shown at once. Otherwise, it starts to become glitchy. So we're going to just limit ourselves to a smaller number of properties, but it will show us the capabilities of the system. So if you are looking for leads to wholesale, of properties to wholesale, you can use this list as a starter because we know for a fact that these people in 2024, for whatever reason, tried to sell but could not sell. Now, the total number of leads here is currently showing as 4,300, for example. In reality, some of those people might have already sold to a wholesaler or to an investor. This just shows that they expired. That just showed that they were in the market and failed to sell. Some of them might have relisted their properties, but let's just say that 50% of these 4,300 already sold one way or another. That leaves us with about 2,200 leads just in this area to play with. So what can we do with those leads? If you're interested in specific types of properties, for example, we could go to let's just say that you're looking for properties between $300,000 and $700,000, or maybe you're looking for something that is closer to, let's just say, $100,000 to $300,000. You can play with that. You can see that the number of leads dropped significantly, and now you can see where they are primarily located. If you were to, let's just say 700 minus for now to keep the number of leads larger. If you're looking for specific configurations, so for example, 4 bedrooms and 3 baths, you could do that, for example, and then you could immediately narrow down the number of properties that could be within your list. I'll just keep it in default configurations for now. And let's just say that you were looking specifically for properties with pool, or property that are vacant, or property that have some additional structures attached to them. Maybe you're looking for somebody who was looking for a assumable loan in case you were thinking about trying your hand at subject to an existing loan type of proposition to those sellers. Or maybe you were thinking about somebody who would be open to lease to purchase type of situations. Or maybe you're looking for somebody who, let's see. Or maybe you're looking for property that have the word TLC or motivated. 163, or the property investor, like an investor special. In the property description, you could also see those properties or filter out those properties. Another potential filter could be, is there an HOA? Is there a pool on a property? See how the numbers change here, so you can see whether or not we're getting any matches. Or, for example, let's just take a look, something with specific within a specific school zone, or with long days in the market. Let's just say they were in the market for 300 days, and they're definitely ready to sell. Whether as opposed to somebody who only been in the market for, let's just say, 30 days. Those people might have, they only spend 30 days in the market, they might be less motivated to sell. So you could create a 30 to 300 days in the market as your filter, saying that I want them to be on the market for no less than 30 days, but no more than 300 days, etc. So the ability to filter this list is pretty significant in case you have specific target audience in mind. Okay. Once we get the number of properties displayed, how do we then proceed with finding out where, how to contact them and what are their characteristics? Okay, let's take a look. So this would what our approximate visual representation would look like. And let me show you in just 1 second how it would look like once we download the properties. Okay, so this is the actual downloaded list of the property that we just saw. Now, this list has already been filtered by whether or not they resold or not. Those are just the properties on this list that have not been resold and did not go back on the market, which means that these people are still willing to sell, but maybe they're waiting for the summer this year to start selling. Okay, so what kind of fields or what kind of information can we gain from this list? Well, other than the property information, which we already know from the list, what we can glean is how long, how many months these people have owned the property. So if you're looking for somebody who recently bought and they may not have a lot of equity yet, that's a great target. Or if you're looking for somebody who own their property for, let's just say, 10 years, 5 years plus, that's also a great target that we can look at. Then we have what kind of ownership type is this? This an individual or a company or a trust? Depending on what your target type, you might decide to target only individuals or only investors. Is it owner occupied? If it's owner occupied, you could have one approach, or if not owner occupied, you could have a different approach. We would have an owner name. Now, for the privacy reasons, because we are showing an actual live table, I'm not displaying names, but the names are in the table. So you know that they're available in case we wanted to download this list. We do have owner's contact information in terms of the phone numbers and email addresses. Now, be aware that the phone numbers may or may not be up to date, but nevertheless, and it doesn't show whether or not the phone numbers have do not call on them, but it is a good start in terms of the research on how to contact this person. We also have email addresses for those individuals. So for us, if we wanted to do an email campaign, that would be a possibility. We would need to look at the logistics and legality and legal issue that come with it, but nevertheless, it's possible. What is the age of the owner? So for example, again, I'm not showing it here because I want to protect people's privacy, but we can see if we want to target young homeowners or homeowners who are a little bit older. That's all displayed in this table. Is the property currently vacant? That's another potential target audience. People who already moved away from their property and they now need to sell in order to complete their move. When is the last sale date? So for example, if you're looking to buy a property that somebody bought in 2020 or 2021 because they might have a great interest rate, that's a possibility. Or if you're looking to do a subject to an existing loan to have an offer to somebody who has a great interest rate, that could be a possibility. Estimated value. So this would be the estimated kind of like ARV from the program itself. It may or may not be the ARV that you will calculate, but nevertheless, it is an automated ARV calculation. And based on the estimated ARV calculation, what is their equity amount or the estimated equity percentage? So if you're looking to target somebody who has 100% equity, that's a possibility. Or if you're looking to target somebody who has very little equity, like zero equity or minus equity, that's another possibility. So the equity is in this column. Do they have a mortgage, and how much mortgage do they have? Again, for the privacy protection reasons, I'm not displaying those values, but they are available, what kind of a mortgage they have, what the lender name, in case that's interesting to us, what type of deed type they have. Did they have deed of trust? Now, deed of trust, for those of you who know what a deed of trust is, this could be interesting. And also, there's different types of trusts or deeds that you could look at that say, I'm interested in people who received grant deed, for example, or different types of deeds. That's a conversation for another day. In what kind of position does this lender stands? Because for some of them it could be first, for some of them it could be second. People with second loan open could be of particular interest for some types of transactions. Tax amount, I don't know if it's going to be really interesting to you, but it's available. And also, this is their status as far as their pre-foreclosure. Do they have a default? Again, for privacy protection reasons, I hid this information. But in case we do have somebody who already have a default in their mortgage recorded, it will show the default amount, the opening bid, when was the default recorded, and the proposed auction date. So this information would be available for those records that I download from the MLS, and then I use a couple of additional databases to basically conjoin to what the MLS offers. And then that gives me a pretty good accurate picture of the type of targets that could be located on that list and give me an idea of how I could approach a specific target. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Now that you have seen the table that I can obtain for just about any parameter or any area in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, let's discuss how we could collaborate and benefit each other. So for those of you who have access to all this data already, you obviously do not need my help. But in case you do need my help, you don't have access to this data, what I can provide is I can provide the initial list, means the selection of the properties. I'm pretty good, I'm pretty technical. So I can find specific fields that allow me to really granularly microsegment the overall population of homes and see how I can find just the property that fit your search criteria. Once I find a property that fits your search criteria, whether they're expired, canceled, or not, I can obtain this list and I can basically glue a couple of different lists together to create a fairly good overview of not just the property, but the owner, the type of financials that he currently have, for example, equity status, mortgage status, etc. And then contact information for the owner. Once all of this information is provided, and I can provide it to you at almost no delay, because I have multiple virtual assistants in Philippines working for me. What you can decide then is how to approach those people. So what can I help with? I can help with both marketing part, because I'm actually very good as a visual designer. I'm very good with Canva. I'm very good with creating images, postcards, digital ads, etc. And I'm really good with technology in general. So if you need to automate the list, automate mailing the postcards, or automate any kind of process that is automatable, I can provide those services because I'm technical in my nature, and automation is something that is becoming easier and easier with every passing year. For the marketing purposes, what I can offer is, number one, I can design the postcards. Number two, I have in my office at Keller Williams office, we have a huge printing center and a design center. which means that if we need to create professional looking postcards, door hangers, any kind of, I don't know what kind of marketing material I can think of, newsletters, etc. What we can do is I can use my marketing and design center in my office to design it for very low cost and then print it at below the cost that you could get it at Staples or on different websites, and then organize the mailing of those items using our own Keller Williams internal um, marketing management center, which means that we will have people who are mailing the postcards on days that we tell them to mail and in the sequence that we want them to mail. We have a specific marketing center that can create mailings at certain times. Once the marketing is completed, if you're a wholesaler, obviously, then you want to be able to receive some kind of phone calls or a reach out from the sellers. Now, if you're a wholesaler and you're fairly experienced, after that, you really need very little of my hand holding. But if you're just starting out and you need help with comping, you need help with understanding the estimate of repairs, you need help with understanding what kind of legal situation is this person in. Is he in the middle of a divorce? Is it a relative who's trying to sell something for his parents or for his aunts or uncles? Is that somebody who is in the military? Is that somebody who is going through hard times, falling on all kind of different, maybe they have drug problems or alcohol problems. You do not know what other situations, what other liens, what other problems could be attached to that house. Is that somebody who is facing foreclosure? Is that somebody who is facing a bankruptcy? All of those things, although they do not, we cannot see them from this table, they can definitely greatly affect, have a great effect on the type of conversations that you need to have with that person and the type of deed issues or title issue that could come up. So bankruptcy cases versus divorce cases versus property abandonment cases versus potentially selling for another property for a relative who might be disabled or unable to express his own wishes or her own wishes correctly. Those could present title issues that need to be immediately detected, so we do not pursue a deed that actually has a lot of work to do before the property could have marketable title. So that's another potential area of expertise where you may or may not have experience, but I definitely do. If you need then, for example, once you convince the person to go with your plan of selling the property, whether it's a cash offer, you're wholesaling, or a seller financing offer that you're wholesaling, maybe even subject to an existing loan that you're trying to wholesale. I do have a very large database of investors who are constantly asking me to find properties for them. So once you negotiate the deal with the seller, I can also help with the disposition of the property. Also, if the seller is willing to sell, but for whatever reason you cannot obtain the type of agreement or you cannot agree on price and they will not go below a certain amount, then you and I could potentially kind of have a little conversation about additional exit strategies because I am personally an investor who is looking for homes to turn into midterm rentals and section 8 rentals. So I might be interested in that property. And also I do have investors who are interested in different types of properties that may fetch above the usual amount or the usual formula that most cash investors can offer. So that is how we could potentially help each other to build our businesses. Or if the property is in a really good shape and the owner is not distressed, maybe I could list the property and then you could receive some kind of compensation, assuming that you do have ability to receive compensation by Texas law. maybe you could receive a compensation when the property sells if I'm the listing agent. So that's an additional potential exit strategy that you could help that you could make money from, even though you were not able to sell it off market like you initially planned. So that concludes my brief review of how we could help each other if you are a wholesaler. And we can always start with this expired and canceled list. In my opinion, that's a great list to always start with. So you can eliminate the slowest hanging fruit, which are called sellers who fail to sell on an open market. Alrighty, my name is Elena Garrett, and I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Central 75 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. If you have any questions about this list, how to get this list, how to contact me, how we could get started, how could we JV or work out, have any kind of alternative arrangements that could help us to work together and put our talents and time together, let me know. And also feel free to ask any questions in the description below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys at the next video.